Test 1, 2, check. Check 1, 2, test. Okay, test 1, 2. Okay, test 1, 2. Testing 1, 2, 3. Testing 1, 2, 3. Testing 1, 2, 3. Testing 1, 2, 3. Check, check, checkers. Testing 1, 2, 3. Testing 1, 2, 3. Check, check, checkers. Testing 1, 2, 3. Testing 1, 2, 3. Check, check, checkers. Check, check, check. Awesome. Congratulations on being here at the Thrivalist Master Course. You did it. You pressed play. You're here. You showed up, you guys. And that is amazing because we're here to help you prepare the right way the first time, and you're going to love this course. Now, you're part of what's called the 1%. Actually, you're the 1% of the 1% of the 1%, because there's probably only about 1 out of 10,000 people that actually do what you do here by getting prepared for emergencies. And you're the round pegs in the square holes. You're not actually the square pegs in the round holes, you're the round pegs in the square holes. I remember back in 2019 when I was trying to get people to do preparedness right before 2020. And I've been doing this for about a dozen years professionally, but I remember people would come up to me and they'd say, "Hey, what do you do for a living?" And I say, "I do emergency preparedness." And they go, "Oh, you're one of those." Yeah, I'm one of those. And I tried to talk to them and tell them a little bit about preparedness, but I'll tell you what would happen. They would do exactly this. They would take their ears, they would screw them off just like magnets and put them on the fridge and not even listen to me until I was done talking. Then they'd put those ears back on and go, "Oh, that's great." And the truth is, as soon as 2020 hit and everybody started saying, wow, things could happen, bad things can happen, all of a sudden it changed from, "Oh, you're one of those," to, "Oh, you're one of those." And people got all excited. So you guys are one of those. You are the round pegs in the square holes. You're the ones who don't quite fit in with society, but you're doing it right. You're doing the right thing to get yourself prepared for emergencies. So congratulations on being here. You guys are doing the right thing. Now, if you're on this training right now, you're either getting started in preparedness, you've been doing preparedness for a little bit, but you're just kind of in the middle, or you're really good at preparedness and you kind of want to get off the rough edges and just do a little bit more to get your family prepared. Well, in either way, congratulations on being here. And you would know, in either way, whether you're getting started, whether you're in the middle, or whether you've been doing, either way, whether you're just getting started, whether you're in the middle, or whether you're doing preparedness for a whole long time, you're going to be aware of what's called, either way, if you're just getting started or you're in the middle, or you've been, either way, if you're in Either way, if you're just getting started, or you're in the middle, or you've been doing preparedness for a long time, I'm going to tell you a little bit about what's called the preparedness cycle, because you're either going to get into it or you've been into it and you're going to relate. It's called the preparedness vicious cycle, but I call it the preparedness cycle. And this is how it works. Typically, when you're getting prepared, you hear some scary news, and all of a sudden you're like, oh man, I got to get... You hear some scary news, and then all of a sudden you say, man, I got to get... You hear some scary news, and then you say, oh man, I got to get prepared for emergencies. And so you do what everybody else does, and you run to the store. And when you get there, all the shelves are either... And when you get there, you do what everybody... And when you get there, you buy what everybody else is buying. If they're buying toilet paper, you buy toilet paper. If they're getting bottled water, you get bottled water. If they're getting Oreos, you get Oreos. Just because if the news scares you enough and everybody says they're buying something, that's what you're going to buy. And you, a lot of times, don't even know why. In fact, back in 2020, people were buying things that I was like, wow, why are they buying that for emergencies? It made no sense, but it was because everybody else was buying it. That's why they did it. Now, what happens is when the news gets better, or you get used to the news and it's not a shock anymore, you end up forgetting about your preparedness. Even if you just barely got started, you end up just quitting. And that's what happens in our stores when we end up getting, that's what happens in our stores. When we have some crazy emergency hit the news, our stores get inundated with people. And within about a week and a half, even if the news doesn't change, even if the war's still going on, even if there's some crazy thing happening, the news doesn't change, people stop coming into the store. They stop coming into the store. People stop coming into the store because awesome, you showed up, you're here, you're part of the 1% that actually press play. You know how many people buy courses out there and don't even press play on the first video, don't even get to the first video? Awesome, you showed up, you're here, congratulations. That's awesome. You know how many people actually pay for a course or show up to a course and they don't even press play on the first video? They don't even get into the course to play the first video. And that's just crazy. You know, a lot of good intentions out there. I mean, I've done it. Sorry for anybody watching me right now. I am trying to do this on my own, and I hate doing this without a group of people watching me and talking to me. It's really hard talking right to a camera. And so I'm just going to try it again. We recorded this last night, and I looked at the resolution, and it was horrible. It was so bad. And so I'm here early in the morning trying to do this myself, and man, I hate talking to a camera. So I'm going to try this again and see if I can get this right. Awesome, congratulations on being here and pressing play, actually getting into the video and getting into the course to be able to press play, because there are so many people out there who end up purchasing a course. They have the best intentions. I mean, I've done it before, and they don't even get into the course and press play, but you're here, you did it, you're part of the 1%. And what I mean by 1% is the 1% of the 1% of the 1%, because there's literally only about 1 out of 10,000 people in the United States that will do anything to get prepared for emergencies, and you're actually going beyond that anything. In fact, by doing this course that you're starting today, you're going to get about 10 to 15 years ahead of other people, because you're going to be able to stand on my shoulders and be able to see a lot further than you could see without me. In fact, with my coaches here as well, you're going to be able to learn from them and a whole bunch of others in the community and be able to get so much further away. I mean, because you haven't gone through hundreds of thousands of dollars of mistakes. You haven't learned 10 to 15 to 30 to 20 to who knows how many thousands of hours that I've done, my coaches have done, and you're going to be able to learn from us. That's getting there. Okay. I think I'm getting closer to getting this done, and I think I'm getting more comfortable and relaxed. So for those of you watching, I'm going to try it again. So thanks for being patient with me. Awesome, you're here, you showed up, you pressed play, you got into the course. You know how many people purchase courses? Awesome, you showed up. Congratulations on being here in the course, for showing up and for actually getting in, for those of you online, pressing play, because you know how many people purchase courses and they have the best intentions. I mean, I've done it. And they don't even get into the first video. They don't even press play on the first video. But you're part of the 1%. You're part of the round pegs in the square holes, the people who actually get into a course and actually do it. And I want to congratulate you for being here today and getting started. Now, as being part of the 1%, actually part of the 1% of the 1% of the 1%, because only about 1 out of 10,000 people actually do anything to get prepared for emergencies, and that's you. You know, you're the ones where back before 2020, people would go, oh, you're one of those, right? They did that to me, right? Before 2020. Oh, what do you do for a living? I do preparedness. Oh, you're one of those. But when 2020 hit, all of a sudden it changed and said, oh, you're one of those. And they started asking me questions and wanting to learn more about preparedness. And now people are really, it's kind of like back in the, 1980s, being a nerd was really bad. But now you fast forward to today, and if you're a nerd, you're really cool, And so that's kind of what it's like. So with preparedness, I want to encourage you. Okay, jump up, jump down, turn around. Start it over, you can do this. Talking to a camera is really hard just by yourself. I really like talking to people. It's just so stupid to have to talk to a camera, but you know something, I'm gonna get used to it. So here goes. Awesome, you showed up. You showed up. You got into the course and you press play. Nobody does that. I mean, barely anybody gets into a course. Awesome, you showed up. You're here. You showed up to the course. You know how many people buy courses? I mean, I've done it before and don't even log in, don't even press play on the first video, but you did it. You're here. You are the round pegs in a square hole. You're the ones who actually are different than everybody else. And so congratulations, you're part of the 1%. Actually, you're part of the 1% of the 1% of the 1%, because probably about 1 out of 10,000 people will ever do anything to get prepared for emergencies here in the United States. And you're actually pressing play. You're actually going for it. In the 7 steps course, you're actually going to learn so much. You're going to learn more than people who've been doing it for 10 to 15 years. And so by starting today, I want to congratulate you for doing this. Now, if you're in this training right now, either just barely getting started in emergency preparedness, you've been doing it a little bit, but you just need to get to the next level, or you're pretty experienced and you want to hone your skills. Well, either way, whether you're getting started, you're in the middle, or you've been doing it for a long period of time, you're gonna eventually, if you haven't already, be part of what's called the preparedness cycle. And I call it the preparedness vicious cycle, because what happens is you end up hearing some scary news scary news on the news, I guess you say that. Scary news on the news. And all of a sudden it just motivates you because you're getting all scared and you're just like, oh man, I got to get prepared for emergencies. So you run out and buy supplies and whatever they're talking about on the news, like people are buying newspaper, people are buying toilet paper, people are buying cookies, they're buying whatever it is. Whatever people are talking about buying, that's what you're going to buy. A lot of times you don't even know why you're buying it. You're just buying it because everybody else is buying it. And back in 2020, I saw so many people buying stuff and I was like scratching my head. Why are they buying that? Doesn't even make sense for emergencies. I mean, a pandemic's not going to turn the water off. Why are you going to get okay. We're starting over.